Greetings everybody, this is Winnie Wriggle and welcome back to our Direwolf20's 1.19 Modpack Let's Play. We're in episode 5 and today we're on a path to power. But first, in the last episode I mentioned that I was completely out of emeralds and I have found the best emerald source in this pack. It is in fact these floating villager cities. Notice that all their floating islands are covered in emeralds. So I've got my trusty magnetic tool in one hand. Whoop! Oh dear. Okay, watch out for the watery ones. Ow! But this is... Oh no! Oh no! Oh, this is very bad. Oh dear. So remember how I said don't hit shift while you're on your broom because you fall off? Yeah. This is a great example. Okay. Where is my broom? I'm guessing it's over on that island. That it just got caught on one of the blocks. Hopefully. Well, I guess let's go look for it. Oh, there it is. Woo! Okay. Ooh. Very bad things almost happened again. So it did come down to the earth. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Mining emeralds out of the floating villager cities. So I'm going to collect a bunch of emeralds and I will meet you back at base where we will be emerald rich. While we're heading home, I thought I would talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. The first thing I want to do is set up some steel production from Immersive Engineering. It's a mod I think we'll use for some of its beautiful multi-blocks to do some simple functions. I also want to show you some of the changes I've started on the base since the last time we met. And then we're going to do a little bit more with Silent Gear today. Namely, we're going to make some arrows and upgrade some of our tools with grips and tips. And then I want to set up a kitchen because right now I'm still rocking cooked fish as my primary food source. And we have some great food mods in here like Farmer's Delight that I want to take advantage of. It's another beautiful evening in Minecraft. Not just because I got lost and tried to go to the old base first. Nope, that never happened. There it is, glowing in the darkness ahead of us, with our super attractive iron farm, which I have yet to hide. Oh, this is also a great opportunity to show you the changes I've made to the base. It's not much. I did a little terraforming, cleaning up the shape of the hills around the base in preparation for building so we can do planning. I also added a little decoration to the beautiful little island with the well on it and moved our waystone to that island. It's a great place for it to live. There we go. Home again, home again. It's another glorious morning in Minecraft. Okay, let me empty my pockets. We did really great on the emeralds. I got just over 3 stacks. And I had discovered this before, so we will add it to the 77 that I already had. Doing great on resources. I've also been mining quite a bit. We do, however, have a lot of resources to process. And that is part of the reason that I want to get us ready to have power. So let me deal with my inventory for a second, and we will get started with the coke oven and blast furnace from Immersive Engineering. We'll be right back. And we're back. Let's take a look at our project box. So here's all the materials we will need in order to make both a coke oven and a blast furnace. We'll start with making 27 coke bricks. So you need 9 of everything in the recipe. And then we will also need to make 27 blast bricks. There we go. And you also need an engineer's hammer, which is just a couple of sticks, string, and 2 pieces of iron. And I have prepared an area out here for us to put the coke oven and the blast oven. It's very easy. You make a 3x3 with your 27 bricks and right click with the hammer. And we make the achievement concentrated carbon. So we put coal in here and it will produce coal coke and creosote oil. And creosote oil is what we need in order to create treated wood. Treated wood is required for the recipes for the windmills and the water wheels for basic power production in Immersive Engineering. We may go that route for early power. We have so much iron. Next up, we're going to go over and check on how our iron farm is doing. I let it run one night overnight, and I had to turn it off because I was afraid we would produce too much iron, and I didn't know that that was possible. Okay, the next item is the blast furnace. We do the same thing with a 3x3, all 27 bricks. Right click it with the hammer. And now when we right click it, it has an interface. Once we have a coal coke from the coke oven, we will put a stack of iron and use coal coke to process it into steel. This is a very slow process, which is why I wanted to start it as early as we could possibly afford the ingredients. And since we've been to the Nether recently, we had plenty. Let's take a look at the iron farm production because you're just not gonna believe this. There's a golem in here as we speak. So I had to do two things. I put a 2-tier stack upgrade in this. So this multiplies the number of stacks that can fit in each slot by 4. So we get 4 stacks of iron blocks or iron. And I have crafted the iron that's been in here into blocks because it was starting to not fit. You can tell how much we've gotten by the sheer number of poppies that we have. So much iron. We'll never need iron again. And there's another golem as we speak. It's very efficient. I'm going to have to stick a lever in there so we can actually turn it off if we need to. Okay, let's go take a look at some silent gear upgrades. Oh, and one quick thing, if you're wondering what this mysterious block is, this is an Aquatic Entangler from the Thermal series. And it is a very cheap block to make. It's wood, a copper gear, a redstone servo, and some glass and a plain fishing rod. You stick it in water. It has to be completely surrounded by water. I think at least 2 blocks on every side. And the more water that's around it, the more efficient it is. It uses no power at all, and it slowly fishes over time. Now, it only gets fish. So we're only going to get salmon, cod, tropical fish, and puffer fish. But it has been an invaluable source of food for me early game, as evidenced by our food chest, which is full of fish. Oh, I also made the Ring of Repair off camera, because now we do have access to emeralds, and we went to the Nether last time and got the materials we need for those Gobber ingots. And I wanted to show you, you'll notice that every single piece of armor and tool that's in my inventory is completely 100% repaired. This is another OP ring from Gobber. It's amazing. Since you didn't get to see the repair happening, I thought I would show you on this dwarven turtle shell of the 4-leaf clover, which is actually one of my, I think I like it better than the helmet I'm wearing, mostly because it has luck and additional attack damage. But you can see in the very bottom where it says durability, that the durability is slowly increasing because we have the Ring of Repair in our inventory. So by the time we're done with this episode, that helmet should be completely repaired. Now let's take a look at silent gear, and I'm going to need some of our blueprint paper and plenty of sticks. And I want to do 2 things today. I want to take a look at the effect of adding grips to our tools. A grip adds various attributes to each of our tools, depending on the tool type. And I also want to add tips. Tips can also add various attributes to your tools, including things like silk touch or adding additional damage. So we've made the tip upgrade blueprint and the grip upgrade blueprint. And there are a couple of materials that we can use. I'm going to use some amethyst shards for our pickaxe and some emeralds. Again, a reason for having emeralds for our tools. I'm actually going to make an emerald tip and an amethyst tip for our pickaxe. And we can switch them out very easily. If I add the emerald tip, if we look at its original stats, it's got a durability of 2076 and an attack damage of 6.5. With the emerald tip, our attack damage goes up by 1 and our durability goes up by more than 500, which is amazing. So now we have a supercharged pick. I did. So we could also put an emerald tip on our Silent Gear sword, which does 9.5 attack damage out of the gate, and with an emerald tip, it now does 10.5, which is fantastic. If we want to add Silk Touch to anything, we would use an amethyst shard. For example, our shovel, if we add an amethyst tip upgrade to it, now we have the attribute on the traits that are flashing by of Silky. And Silky gives us Silk Touch. You can also switch out the tips on your tool at any time. So if I put our emerald tipped pickaxe in a crafting table with the new tip and pull it out again, it drops the old emerald tip. And now I have a pickaxe that has Silk Touch. Now let's add some grips. A leather grip gives us flexible 3. And I have my cheat sheet of all the Silent Gear attributes and what they do. Flexible actually makes your gear occasionally take less damage. So it's kind of like unbreaking. I believe if we used Phantom Membranes, we would also have the ability to add an XP boost to our tool. For now, I'm just going to add grips that are leather. We can always replace the parts later. So we'll make a couple of leather grip upgrades. Add one to our shovel. So now this has flexible 3 on it. Add one to our axe. So these will take slightly less damage, and a pickaxe. Speaking of making really cool things from Silent Gear, the other thing I want to do today is make some arrows, because we have access to some great metal right now. And to do that, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need the arrow blueprint, which I will need a feather for. Hopefully with feathers, yes. So we'll make the arrow blueprint. We will also need the fletching blueprint. And I think we're just going to make our fletching out of feathers. So we need a fletching part, an arrow tip part. So I'm going to make it out of void metal. And then we'll need some kind of tool rod. Okay, so can I make a rod out of obsidian? Yes. Yeah, let's just go with obsidian. Enderium would also be a great arrowhead in terms of damage. But I think we'll go with that. Okay, so we've created this arrow, and you may be wondering why there is a durability of 64 out of 256. That is because a Silent Gear arrow is the equivalent of 4 stacks of arrows. So now I'll be able to carry 256 arrows in the same amount of space I would have had to carry 4 stacks. But in order to get it up to that durability, I have to use the repair kit, just like I would on the other tools, and apply the resources in the repair kit in order to repair the arrow. Now I've repaired the arrow, and now it has a full durability of 256. Oh, and I also noticed that our turtle shell helmet is completely repaired. So go ring of repair. That looks so attractive with the hat. It's awesome. Okay, now that we have found emeralds, taken a look at our iron farm, upgraded some of our Silent Gear tools, gotten started on production of steel, let's solve our food problem. To do that, I'm going to set up a Cooking for Blockheads kitchen upstairs. But first, we'll need to craft all of the parts for it. So we want all the things. We want the oven, so make some black stained glass. And there's our oven. We also want to make a toaster for toasting bread. Easy peasy. I want to make the cooking table, which requires the Cooking for Blockheads 2 book, which requires the Cooking for Blockheads 1 book, which you get by sticking a book in a furnace. And there it is. So now we need to convert that book into a Cooking for Blockheads 2 book, and then we can make our cooking table. There we go, a cooking table. Now let's make a fridge, which I know we will need some iron doors for. Each piece of the fridge requires an iron door and a chest. I only want to make 2 of those. We want to make a spice rack, a fruit basket, which is a wooden pressure plate, and 2 slabs. We also want a sink. This is one of the best water providers in the game. I use it for things that are not cooking all the time. And then we need some cabinets. So let's make a couple of corner cabinets and a couple of regular kitchen counters, and then some kitchen cabinets that actually go above the kitchen because this is a multi-block. And let's go set this up. I'm going to put it up here in the very top of our building for now. So we'll come up the ladder and let's have it right in front of us. And I think we want to set down our functional blocks first, like the fridge, And then our oven. More cabinets. We'll also need places to set some of the other blocks, like the toaster and our fruit basket. We're going to hang our spice rack, and I'm going to add regular crafting tables down here. We also need tool racks, and I think at least 3. Spice rack can just be floating there. Be fine. Be fine. And then more storage cabinets, because these also have storage in them so you can put your food. I also want to make use of the cooking pot from Farmer's Delight, so we can set a campfire down up here later and get it set up. In fact, there are a couple of tools we'll want to make. We definitely need an iron knife. That in the tool rack. Now the last item we want to make from cooking for Blockheads is called a cow in a jar. And if you didn't know, we'll need to make a milk jar, which is straightforward. But in order to get a cow in a jar, you put a cow on top of a jar in a hole and then drop an anvil on its head. No, I'm not making that up at all. Let's go find a cow. We are in search of cow. I see one in the distance. Mr. Cow, would you like to participate in our forever milking program? Okay, so let's make our milk jar. Super easy. Then we're going to dig a hole 2 blocks down, stick the milk jar in it, and then go try to convince our friend that, Bob, I don't have time for you right now. I'm busy doing a video. Well, I'll take a look. I mean, the sleep charm is nice, Bob, but you still want 5 emeralds for your saplings. Where were we? Oh, yes. We'll take our volunteer, lead them over to our trap. Can you go in there? Oh, you're so good. It's perfect. And then we take a block, put the anvil on the block, and then break the block, and the anvil lands on the cow and puts it in the jar. And now we have a cow in a jar. And the reason we want the cow in a jar is that it'll produce milk for us in the multi-block kitchen. So that we don't have to milk a cow every time we want something that needs milk or cream or butter or whatever. Probably need to add some more light in here. Okay, we're going to put our cow in the jar on the countertop. And you can see that slowly over time, up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen, that it's slowly providing milk. One other fun thing we can do with the Cooking for Blockheads kitchen is dye the blocks. So if you just take any regular Minecraft dye and right click, including the fridge. Oh, I wish we could do the stove. So you can dye your kitchen to match any decor. That red on the fridge is very bright. Oh, it's good. Okay, let me get our food all moved up here into the kitchen and we can make some better food for us. I'll be right back. And we're back with more food in the kitchen as well as some lighting. I've also set up the skillet and stove from Farmer's Delight, as well as the cooking pot so that we can also take advantage of those recipes. There is a campfire hidden behind some trapdoors. I like the effect that it has. The little smoke in the kitchen. It's fantastic. So now when we open up the cooking table and it shows us all the available recipes, you'll note that there are a lot of recipes available to us. I also have added fuel to the cooking oven so that cooking can actually happen. And I have just kind of scattered stuff around. The spices like salt and sugar are in the spice rack. Tomatoes and apples are in the fruit rack. And as we get more food types, the kind of food that we'll be able to make will increase as well. There's also another crafting mechanism in Farmer's Delight, and that is the use of the knife to cut up meat and other products into smaller pieces, which helps not only with resources, but is also the key to being able to do those recipes. So I'm going to put the meat in my offhand and the knife in my main hand and right click on the cutting board. And you'll see we're processing this pork into raw bacon. Because who doesn't love bacon? So we got 64 bacon out of those 32 pork chops. Let's do the same with our chicken. Nice. Same with mutton, which I think gives us mutton chops. Yes. And then beef, which I believe gives its hamburger, or minced beef that looks like hamburger patties. We also can do the same thing for salmon and cod. And I believe as a bonus for doing this, you also get bone meal. 38. Yes, so we're getting bone meal in addition to the cut fish. Now we'll do the same for the salmon. Chef Winnie doing her thing. This is a view I didn't expect. Okay, so now we have raw salmon slices, raw bacon, chicken, mutton chops, minced beef, and cod slices. And if we put those in our refrigerator and hang our knife back up, now when we open up the possible food that we have increased the amount of things that we can do. So for example, now we can have cooked mutton chops or cooked cod slices. And if we look up some of those, if we right click on the chicken cuts, you'll notice that we need those in order to make a chicken sandwich. So it would probably behoove us to cook up a bunch of those. I'm actually going to cook half of each of the stacks and show you that you can actually just chuck everything in the cooking oven instead of having to click them one at a time. And it cooks 9 items at a time and fairly quickly too. So now we have cooked bacon, cooked chicken, cooked salmon, and cooked cod. So now when we put those cooked items in the fridge, and remember that this is a multi-block, so you could actually put them anywhere in here as long as there is a block between the top cabinet and the bottom cabinet. And in fact, the refrigerator count as that block, so you don't necessarily need the tool racks. Now when we open it, we can have a bacon sandwich and a chicken sandwich. And those are good. Look at that saturation on there. That's way better than our fish. Our fish is giving us 3 meat sticks and not quite 3 saturation. Like it's 2.5. So I think we should totally make ourselves some chicken sandwiches. I'm going to make a half a stack. That's so nice. So now we have a much better food source thanks to Cooking for Blockheads and Farmer's Delight. And with that, I think that's everything we have time for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It helps me out and I appreciate it. And remember, as always, you are the shiny stuff that awesome is made of. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.